This is Candace from the Perry County Public Library. I'm going to be reading The Roast Christmas from the Kingfisher Treasury of Christmas Stories, chosen by Cyan Hardy. Once, a man found a goose on the beach. The November storms had been raging several days before. She had probably swum too far out, been caught, and then tossed back to land again by the waves. No one in the area had geese. She was a real white domestic goose. The man stuck her under his jacket and took her home to his wife. "Here's our Christmas roast." They had never kept an animal and had no coop. The man built a little shed out of post boards and roofing board right next to the house wall. The woman put sacks in it and put an old sweater on top of them. In the corner, they put a pot with water in it. "Do you know what geese eat?" she asked. "No idea," said the man. They tried potatoes and bread, but the goose wouldn't touch anything. She didn't want any rice either, and she didn't want the rest of their Sunday cake. "She's homesick for other geese," said the woman. The goose didn't resist when they carried her into the kitchen. She sat quietly under the table. The man and the woman squatted before her, trying to cheer her up. "But we aren't geese," said the man. He sat on a chair and tried to find some band music on the radio. The woman sat behind him, her knitting needles going clackety-clack. It was very cozy. Suddenly, the goose ate some rolled oats and a little cake. "She's settling down, our lovely Christmas roast," said the man. By next morning, the goose was waddling all over the place. She stuck her neck through the open doors, nibbled on the curtains, and made a little spot on the doormat. The house in which the man and woman lived was a simple one. There was no indoor plumbing, only a pump. When the man pumped a bucket full of water, as he did every morning before going to work, the goose came along, climbed into the bucket, and bathed. The water spilled over, and the man had to pump again. In the garden, there was a little wooden house, which was the toilet. When the woman went to it, the goose ran behind her and pressed inside with her. Later, when she went to the baker, and then with her to the dairy store. When the man came home from work on his bicycle that afternoon, the woman and the goose were standing in the garden gate. "Now she likes potatoes, too," reported the woman. "Wonderful," said the man, and stroked the goose on the head. "Then by Christmas she'll be round and fat." The shed was never used, for the goose stayed in the warm kitchen every night. She ate and ate, and sometimes the woman sat her on the scales, and each time she was heavier. When the man and the woman sat with the goose in the evening, they both imagined the most marvelous Christmas food. "Roast goose and red cabbage. They'll go well together," said the woman, and stroked the goose in her lap. The man would rather have sauerkraut than red cabbage, but for him the most important thing was the dumplings. "They must be as big as my head and all the same size." "And made with raw potatoes," added his wife. "No, with cooked ones," asserted the man. Then they agreed that half the dumplings should be made with raw potatoes and half with cooked ones. When they went to bed, the goose lay at the foot of the bed and warmed them. And all at once it was Christmas. The wife decorated a small tree, and the husband biked to the shop and bought everything that they would need for the great feast. He also bought 2 pounds of extra fine rolled oats. "Even if it's her last," he said with a sigh, "she should at least know that it's Christmas." "I've been wondering," began the woman. "How do you think, should we, we still have to," but she couldn't get any further. The man didn't say anything for a while. "I can't do it," he said firmly. "I can't either," said the woman. "I could if it were just any old goose, but not this one. No, I can't do it, no matter what." The man grabbed the goose and fastened her onto his baggage carrier. Then he rode his bicycle to a neighbor's. In the meantime, the woman cooked the red cabbage and made dumplings, one just as big as the next. The neighbor lived far away, to be sure, but still not so far away that it was a day's journey. Nevertheless, the man didn't come home until the evening. The goose sat contentedly behind him. "I never saw our neighbor. We just rode around," he said, ashamed. "It doesn't matter," said the woman cheerfully. "While you were gone, I thought it over and decided that adding something else to dinner would just spoil the good taste of the cabbage and the dumplings." The woman was right. They had a good meal, and at their feet, the goose feasted on the extra fine rolled oats. Later, all three sat together on the sofa in the living room and enjoyed the candlelight. The next year, for a change, the woman cooked sauerkraut to go with the dumplings. The year after, there were broad noodles to go with the sauerkraut. They were such good things that nothing else was needed to go with them. And so time passed, and the goose grew very old. The end. You guys have a very happy holiday, and I'll see you next time.